Good morning. My name is Ati Vetezo. I'm a student at Health and Fitness Professionals Academy in Livonia, studying personal training blended skills. Right now, I'm taking the blood pressure of a young female gym member at the UJ Gymnasium, which is also a place which I work. I ensured that she came for the test well rested in 30 minutes after her breakfast meal. We had not commenced exercise, and therefore her blood pressure should be ready to test. It was important for me to let the client know as to why these requirements were a necessity. The client's readings were as follows. The systolic pressure was standing at 109 millimeters of mercury, and systolic pressure was standing at 78, followed by a heart rate at 107 pulses. According to the readings, she was at a normal state.
As long as I'm back from my lows, I even in Yama. Limba got bad, Limba's got good.
After the blood pressure test, I took the client to the scale machine. I explained to her why it's important to take her shoes off and reduce extra weight exerted by clothes for the precise and most accurate weight measurement. As we measured her weight, we found that she weighs 47 kilograms. Her height was measured at 1,57 meters. And for this part of the body profiling, we measured the client's waist and hip size. It's important to take the measurement not at the hip bone per se, but at the widest part of the bum. Now keeping the measuring tape nice and straight, you could see that the client is measured at 25 inches in the waist. And when we conducted the hip size, we found that the client has measured at 35 inches on the hip. I assessed the client on the body posture after having taken the hip and waist ratio. I first assessed the client on her shoulders, explaining to her that it was important for the shoulders to be assessed as to identify imbalances on the shoulders before performing any overhead pressing. Another assessment that I undertook was on the ankles, assessing deviations that could affect exercise and lead to deviation at the knees and the hips. When looking at the hips, I was looking at the adduction of one of the hips, and this would present itself as hiked up more than the other part. The next part I analyzed was the pelvis, to which I was looking for anterior and posterior pelvic tilts, to which I explained to the client as to how they come about. I shared that the anterior is caused by the tightness in the hip flexors, and they draw down the interior portion of the pelvic. Meanwhile, the posterior pelvic is caused by tightness in the erectus abdominis or hamstring. I explained to her how it can make it potentially difficult for her to perform certain exercises. Now the next test was the flexibility test, and the first one was the hamstring stretch test, to which she had to have her hands stretched out as further as possible beyond her feet. Now I had to explain to the client what the test was for, and I explained simply by saying that it was for finding out how flexible her hamstring is, and also give us an idea on how her lower back flexibility is like. Now after performing the sit and bridge test, I then went on to perform the back arch test. The following test
Okay, so the height of the client is 157, which is 1,57 in meters. And then we rounded that off and made it 1,57 in meters. Take that, we take the weight, which is 47,4 kilograms. We take the weight, 1,47 kilograms, divided by 1,57 meters. And then we got our answer, 30,19. Then you take the answer and you divide it again by the height of the client, which was 1,57 meters. And then we get our BMI, which is 19,23, which is under the normal range for women between 18.5 to 24.
Alright, now that the body profiling has been complete, we've taken her heart rate, blood pressure, we've taken body fat percentage, we've taken flexibility test. Right now we're warming up the body. A nice jog as you've seen, and we speed up the pace for 1 mile, to which she jogged for, as we can see, burned about 107 calories. And after that, we took her straight to the stepper, which is another lower body exercise. Right now, she is currently doing the stepper, and for this, I instructed her to do 4 sets of 1 minute. So she steps as many reps as she can under 1 minute, and rests in between for that was 30 seconds. So at this point now, we're working with a quad tricep test. Quad tricep test. So to round it all off and sum it all off, the client to which I chose to conduct my assessment on performed 2 exercises at 4 sets for each exercise, with resting periods of 30 seconds to 1.5 minutes, depending on the intensity of the workout. With the upper body workouts, we ensured that she rested for 1 minute, because upper body was like her weak point, and according to the client, she wanted to work on her legs more than the upper body. So with the lower body, we had a resting value of 30 seconds to 1 minute, also depending on the intensity of the workout. Kodwa bayeke bakhulume baqede mina ngithanda bayeke bakhuluma